There are two main categories for energy. There is kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is when objects are in motion or when you can actually see the energy being used. Potential energy is stored energy or energy that can be used later or soon. The easiest example to show kinetic and potential energy is by using gravitational energy. This ping pong ball is lifted higher and is being acted on by gravity, so it has the potential energy to start moving and to start falling. And when I let go, all the potential energy changes into kinetic energy because it then starts moving and actually moving. So those are the two main categories for energy. The first type of the first six main types of energy is electrical energy. Electrical energy is when ions are moving through atoms, and the faster the ions move, the more powerful electric charge is. Electric energy is used every day around us. We use it in our houses, on our phones, on our laptops. One example of electric energy is this flashlight, because the battery has electric energy that powers the light bulb, which causes light, which we can use in the dark. Electrical energy can be both kinetic and potential, because batteries is potential energy because it's stored, and it can be kinetic because when we actually use it, we can have electric charges that is moving, so it can be kinetic also. The next type of energy is thermal energy. Thermal energy is caused when objects have heat or cause heat. This heat is caused when particles move faster and rub against each other more and collide more, and it causes heat, which can then disperse, and it is a form of energy. The best example for this is a match. If we light this match, you'll see that we have a fire, and if you feel around the fire, it is hot. It is kinetic energy. Thermal energy is always kinetic energy because you can't store heat. It is always going to be there, and it is hot, and there's a lot of energy with this fire. The next type of energy is chemical energy. Chemical energy is when two chemical bonds are either created or destroyed as they interact with each other. Chemical energy can be both potential and kinetic energy, because before the actual reaction, a chemical can have potential energy because it has the potential to have a chemical reaction. But it is also kinetic because while it's having the reaction, the energy is being released, and that is kinetic. Like one example of chemical energy is food that we eat. When we eat the food itself has potential energy before we eat it. Then once we eat it, it becomes kinetic energy because we are using it for energy to energize ourselves. Another example is baking soda and vinegar. When you put the baking soda and the vinegar, the chemicals react with each other, releasing bubbles and steam and a little bit of heat also. The next type of energy is electromagnetic energy. Electromagnetic energy is the energy that's held inside waves, like light waves or radioactive waves. The most common example for electromagnetic is probably the sun with the UV rays. The UV rays hold so much energy that it damages our skin if we are outside for too long or don't wear sunscreen. And there's also other rays like gamma rays and radio waves and TV waves, and all of these hold energy. The greater the frequency and the greater the length of these waves also determines how much energy they hold or can transfer when they hit other things. The next energy is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy occurs when two atoms one atom is split apart or has fission or comes together and fuses. Nuclear energy is both potential energy and kinetic energy because all atoms have the potential to have the nuclear energy inside of them. It's just not until it's actually released that it becomes kinetic energy. The easiest example for this are nuclear power plants or nuclear bombs. because they're created to release that nuclear energy that's inside all of the atoms to either for warfare or to convert into electrical energy. The last of the 6 energies is mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is when objects are actually in motion or when they act on each other, and it's basically a more temporal and more active energy compared to the other energies, because it's not like electromagnetic energy where you can't see it. An example of mechanical energy is this can opener, because once you spin it and are using it to open a can, you are acting on the can and cutting the can. Usually mechanical energy uses simple machines like this can opener. It has a lever for when you actually clamp onto the can. It has a wheel and axle for when you spin it, and it has a wedge for the cutting edge to actually cut into the can. It's a wedge because it comes to a point. Mechanical energy is strictly kinetic energy because it's kinetic and potential energy, because mechanical energy includes gravitational energy, and it also includes gravitational kinetic energy.